Teal backers, and billionaire Anthony Pratt topped the list of the biggest donors to politicians in the year leading up to the federal election. It was alluded to by Andrew. Trudy McIntosh has been going through these numbers. Trudy, take us through it.
Yeah, Kieran, this is the biggest dump of donation data we're going to get before we head to the federal election. But remember, this is only for the last financial year, so it doesn't actually give us an insight into what's been happening since July of last year, but still makes for fascinating reading as to who is now Australia's top political donor for the last financial year. Have a look at the numbers. It's actually backers for Climate 200 that are giving the most in Australian politics at the moment. The Keldonis Investments giving around $1 million to Climate 200. That's Rob Keldonis from the Climate and Energy Market Trader. Marcus Katsaris also giving around $1 million to the Climate 200 group. As for the biggest donor for Labor, it is in fact Anthony Pratt, with Pratt Holdings at around $1 million. He's the chair of Visy, giving all of that money just to Labor. As for LB Conservation, $660,000, half of that or so to the Greens, the other half to Climate 200, and the final name you can see there, Meriton Properties, all of that going to the Liberal Party, controlled obviously Meriton Group by Harry Triguboff. Absent from that list, though, Clive Palmer. For a long time in Australian politics, he has been one of the biggest donors, but he's not on the list anymore. As you can see, his political fortune starting to wane, as well as his big donations. We'll show you too how much money the major parties and players have brought in the last financial year. You can see things fairly even between the two major political parties and their state and territory branches when you add it all together. The Greens at around 20 million, but Climate 200 there, that number coming in at 5.9 million for the last financial year in terms of receipts. There's going to be a lot of focus on how much money Climate 200 is giving to the Teal MPs that are elected to Parliament after that last 2022 wave. The biggest at the moment in terms of these donations, in total it was 432,000. Zoe Daniel with 144,000. You can see Monique Ryan there at 122,000, and it starts to trail off. But it's not just the Teal MPs don't get all of their donations from Climate 200. There's a lot of other individual smaller donors above the donation threshold in terms of what has to go onto the Electoral Commission website. You can see it here. The most donations going to Monique Ryan in that contest for Kooyong. She'll want to hold off the Liberal challenger there. Allegra Spender at $567,000 as well, and the numbers trickle down from there. As for the political timing of this, Labor wants to secure electoral reforms. They tried to get a deal with the opposition before the Christmas break, weren't successful. This is about limiting the amount of spending we can see in each federal election, lowering the donation threshold, so what type of money would have to be disclosed on the register we've just seen in examples like today. Ultimately, they haven't secured a deal yet. They're still in talks, Kieran, with the opposition. The hope from Labor would be to get this passed before the election campaign, although it won't kick into effect for this election. It would be for the one following.